So, day game versus a night game, which one's better? Quite many people have debates over these questions. Like, one point of view is that these things are completely different and require totally another set of skills. And the next one is that day and night games are basically the same. And if you are successful with girls, you are successful with them anywhere. And it's true that the most important thing is to be successful with women in general. So then a change of venue and all the circumstances will not actually matter. However, there are some technical differences that indeed require different approaches and attention. So I assume you all know what a day and night game is. Night game is when you go out to a pub, a nightclub, party or some similar convention. And day game is when you meet people during your regular activities, like in shops, in banks, cafeterias, bus stops, or on a street, basically anywhere. A first big difference between these two approaches is supposedly a social acceptance. And I say supposedly because it's not even remotely true. It's just a way social programming wants us to think, saying that it's generally accepted that if you go out to a club, you are expected to meet people, whereas if you see a stranger somewhere on the street, you should not approach, because it's not acceptable or something of this sort. And well, it's a complete bullshit because it's obvious that you can meet people anywhere. And it's like that anywhere in any country, except maybe a few where it's generally not allowed, but still is possible. Second thing, many guys will say that it's much easier to meet girls in clubs, so why should they even bother and do anything different like a day game? And it might be like that for beginners that are simply afraid to approach a woman, but in a club, after drinking tons of booze with friends, they somehow manage to approach and it seems so amazing. But in reality, the guys who've done both things will agree that nightclubs are actually so much more difficult to work with, because these places are totally unpredictable, and there is one huge difference that nightclubs have. It is competition. And I'm not saying that there are guys better than you there, so it means competition. But it's more like that girls get approached so much, and it is so annoying that their minds get completely blocked because of that, and they are no longer responsive to any contacts. Regardless of how actually awesome a guy is, all of his qualities fade because of this nightclub dynamics. So simply being yourself in a club ain't gonna work. Even if you are the best guy on the planet, if you want to get laid, you'll have to really stand out from the crowd to get even the slightest results. When during a day, this factor is completely not existent, and a mere fact that you approached a woman in a shop will give you a huge advantage simply because nobody else is capable of doing that. Of course, it's not a nightclub where a couple double vodkas and a beer will do the trick. Day game does require a little bit extra mastery, but once starting doing that, advantages are quite noticeable. Day game is so much more affordable and flexible. You can do it anywhere, anytime, without spending anything. In clubs you have to pay money. Even if you don't drink, there are plenty of collateral expenses, as well as it requires time and schedule adjustments. I do like clubs a lot, but visiting them on a regular basis is not a very healthy way of living, and it's difficult to disagree with this. Also, there are different types of people you can meet during a day game, which you would very rarely meet in clubs. But clubs and parties are parts of our social life, so visiting them is quite important basically for anyone. And especially for those who want to become more outgoing and social confident. Clubs have music, lights, lots of external stimulations, they are exciting. Day game can be also very intriguing, but comparably to clubs it's much more linear and calm. Depending on a region where you live, there may be difference in clubbing culture. In America, for one thing, what I noticed, in most cities you won't meet many people outside during the day, so clubs are actually more convenient to meet people. But in Europe, it's the other way around. You meet a lot of people outside, and actually seeing random people flirting outside on the street is quite common. So day and night games are parts of one big picture. They both are good, they both are equally important For some people they may seem like opposite things, like black and white or good and evil, but it's not like that. The real evil is when you do neither of them. So yes, guys, choose whichever works for you better and enjoy. Trust the process.